There we go.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to, well, I'm not going to say welcome to Tennessee River Park because we are not
That's
at
right.
Tennessee River Park. And
We're-
I'm sure you guys recognize that we're not at Tennessee River Park. Where are we, Doug?
We're at my house in the backyard.
In your backyard.
That's right,
In your-
on the back porch.
Yeah. And this is, what is it? I think today is what? It's like what? I think it's about, 80, 90 degrees here in Tennessee, Chattanooga,
Well,
Tennessee?
it's 85 anyways, but by the same token, the sun's in the back and it's blocked a little bit by the trees. So, yeah, it's hot, but
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah. It's,
And I think one of the reasons for our viewers, one of the reasons we switched the venue a little bit, you probably couldn't see it on the broadcast, but there were a lot of disruptions. When we were over there. I mean, last week, right at the beginning, as we were talking, it wasn't going over the air at that time. We had a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
But some guy rode up on his bicycle with his music blaring and sat right down next to us. I mean, what, 5 feet away?
Yeah,
10
5 feet away. Yeah, and what was interesting is we weren't recording at that time. But I thought we were recording,
Okay.
but we weren't, and so you guys didn't get a glimpse of what was going on.
Yeah.
Thank God. But yeah. So that's a public park. So people come by and they do what they do.
That's a good way of putting it. People are people.
Yeah.
You'd think that maybe they'd be a little more respectful, but and like you said, folks are folks, and we've had motorcycles going by, trains going by.
Yeah.
So we thought that this venue. I live up on Signal Mountain. It's pretty quiet up here. You can see the trees in the background, and maybe my bird feeders, depending on how well the camera can see it. But it's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And
it's so quiet here right now until I feel like the neighbors are just hearing everything that we're talking about today.
Well, that's okay.
It's okay. They tuned in.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I decided to wear a hat today because it's kind of hot and I'm sweating, and I figured this hat will kind of catch that sweat.
Sure.
Yeah. And can you tell them a little bit about this hat, Doug?
Well, yeah, it says the Silomar Conference Grounds on it, and
I actually borrowed this hat from you today,
Yes.
so that's why I'm asking you to explain it.
Okay. Well, I've got about 800 hats.
Yeah.
And I brought out a whole stack and offered you it, and you picked that one.
Yeah.
But it says the Silomar on it, and the Silomar is a conference center out on the West Coast, around Carmel, and it's around Carmel.
And that's on the West Coast, you said.
Yeah, what did I say, East Coast?
No, you said West Coast.
West
I'm just
Coast.
following you.
And the reason I have the hat is when Penny and I, Monterey and Carmel, right near Pebble Beach. I mean, you can see Pebble Beach from the conference center. And it's a Frank Lloyd Wright designed it. And when you're there, I mean, there's deer walking around, raccoons walking around. I mean, you can see all of that, and you're right there on the beach. It's just absolutely beautiful. And the reason I got the hat is that when Penny and I lived out on the West Coast, the churches, the Unity churches on the West Coast, got together once a year, and they had a big conference, very similar to Canoga on the East Coast. Well, it was a Silomar on the West Coast, and it was absolutely a wonderful experience. First church conference I ever went to in my life, and it was life altering. So I got the hat, not the T-shirt, but I got the hat. So
Well, thank you for allowing me to borrow your hat.
well, sure.
Yeah, and if I took this hat off, it'll be a whole bunch of sweat pouring down my face.
We'll wear
So
the hat.
I'm going to continue to wear it. And while you're talking, sometimes I'm looking at the screen to make sure we are all connected.
Sure.
So please
Everything going okay?
Everything's going okay. We have a couple viewers looking at us right now.
Okay.
And we really appreciate people taking the time to tune into our midweek faith lift here, and that's every Wednesday at around 4 o'clock p.m. on Wednesdays. So what's been going on, Doug?
Me? Well, my brother was up last week.
Okay.
For a whole week. It was
Okay.
kind of nice to see him. It was kind of nice to ride motorcycles around the place
cool.
and just have some time together. And and one of the things we do is we play cards. My daughter and her husband and my brother, and we'll play cards, and of course while you're playing cards, you're telling stories and reliving all the past times and that kind of stuff. So
always good to be around family.
It is.
And
It is.
connect.
It is.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Well, I know we had a lot of floods, and
Yeah,
storms and
we
stuff.
did.
Yeah, I know last Sunday we were broadcasting on the Unity of Chattanooga Facebook page, and we had a lot of interruptions, and a lot of those interruptions came from the fact that we've had some flash floods going on here in Tennessee, and I think on the East Coast, actually, and from what I've been reading, and you know, I don't watch the news. Do you watch the news at all?
No, as a matter of fact, I avoid it. But in terms of rain, I will tell you, I've got a little rain gauge right over there.
We talked about that last week.
I don't know if you saw
it,
but last Sunday, this is up here on Signal Mountain. Last Sunday we got 3 inches of rain. On Tuesday we got another 2 inches of rain. By this is what, Thursday of the following week, we've had another 4 inches of rain. So yeah, there's been a lot of rain.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rain and a lot of flash floods going on the East Coast, and also I think they call it a tropical storm. I've been kind of not too much involved in the news, but just just staying in touch with it enough to just find out what's going on.
Yeah,
And,
I think the name of it was Fred.
Oh.
Tropical Storm Fred. And unfortunately, there have been some towns and cities in Tennessee that have been very, very hard hit. People have lost their lives, homes have been destroyed, rivers have flooded, those sorts of things. And one of the difficulties with that, especially among people with faith, is they'll often say, well, how can God let that happen?
And I was going to ask you that.
Okay.
I was going to, because I have a granddaughter. Yeah. And she's like, Pop, that's what she calls me.
Right.
Why would God do that? And I had to kind of think about that. And I said, that's a good question to ask Doug. Is God doing that, or is it something that's being, how do we explain that to children? How do we explain these kind of catastrophes?
Well, in terms of God, there's sometimes a picture, of the Old Testament wrathful God bringing floods and lightning, and there's a little bit of that in the Old Testament. As a matter of fact, from Genesis through 2 Kings, God is seen as being responsible for everything. If you do well in the sight of God, you're blessed, and if you don't, you're cursed, and all the plagues and floods and all the rest of the stuff, God's doing that. And our thinking today is that that's not true.
Okay.
The idea is, to a certain degree, the weather is the weather. Earthquakes are, and natural disasters. Those things do happen. And oftentimes, as we've talked about with prayer, when you ask for something, typically what's going on is your thought processes and what you believe underneath that when you're asking for something is that I don't have it. Okay? So if we use the law of mind action a little bit, simply what happens is God didn't cause that. We, as a group, didn't cause that. It's something that has to do with the nature of the planet, and the way that, now some people could say, well, we're causing it because of global warming. Well, that may be the case. In other words, people do start forest fires. And we do know that some earthquakes in this part of in the continental United States have been caused by oil drilling and fracking and things like that. So there are some causes. But when we look at weather changes like this, we can't necessarily. I mean, we can't say that God created that. But as a matter of fact, we were talking about the book *The Gathering* by Jim Roseman a while ago, and he says it a little better than I just stumbled through. One of the things here, he says, why doesn't God do something about these needs? The answer is gut-wrenching. A need is not an avenue through which God can work. And the idea there is just simply God is. Okay. I'm trying to remember, look through this thing. Oh,
And I
here,
think-
here it is perfectly. Needs do serve a purpose. They turn us to God. Every miracle recorded in the Bible began with a need, and it goes down. But needs are not avenues for God's expression, but they do turn us to God. The next step is to turn from the need. I'll give you an example. I grew up in the Northeast,
Right.
in upstate New York, and one day, everybody's familiar with Niagara Falls. And one day, I think it was back in the 50s or maybe the 60s, Niagara Falls, this was in the wintertime, Niagara Falls stopped.
Wow.
I mean, all of a sudden, all this water going over, just a trickle. Now, there are power generation stations around there, which get their power from the falls. And of course, those started grinding to a halt.
Wow.
You know, they have batteries and things, but those started to fail and those sorts of things. And what happened was the churches flooded. Everybody went to church and they started praying. Okay.
Of course, yeah.
Well, the scientists got involved a little bit, and what they found was that there had been a warm spell, and there was this huge ice jam upriver on the Niagara River, and that ice jam cut the flow. The flow stopped, and of course that broke up. You know, maybe a day or so later. But the interesting thing is, what did the need do? What did the calamity do?
It brought people closer.
It
Yeah,
brought people closer,
together.
and it brought them closer to God. And so, in the big picture, from my perspective, when we watch the news and the camera is there and they're interviewing somebody who just lost their house, or something terrible happened, the outreach of people in that area and around the country is incredible.
It's amazing, definitely.
And they will come to help. And it doesn't matter, you know, whether you're Roman Catholic or Baptist, doesn't matter whether you're black or white, doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat. Everybody is there to help.
Yes, definitely.
And I think if there's a saving grace to some of this stuff, it's that it brings people together and it brings them closer to God.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's just hope in this particular case, and we've seen it already. We've seen help already arriving and that sort of thing.
And that's the wonderful thing about the human spirit. You know, we respond when things are needed. People definitely respond to that need.
That's
and it's just it's similar to what we're doing here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Unity and Community Homeless Outreach Program. You know?
Now that's something that your idea.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I don't know how long ago it was, but I know it's been, you've been talking to me about it for maybe a month now.
Yeah.
And so tell us about that. Tell us about your idea, how you came up with it, and what you're going to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's something that first of all, like Unity of Chattanooga, from what I've seen, I've been a member for about 3 years, and ever since I've been a member, I've noticed that Unity of Chattanooga has always done something, philanthropic somewhere in the community to help people, and we've just had a food drive where we were helping families, feed families. And
5 families?
Yeah, 5 families, and that was pretty successful. I mean, the people got food, and they were very grateful for that food, and we fulfill that need. And I just felt like we need to continue to do that in the community. And like you mentioned, I mean, these things bring people together.
They do.
And it's an opportunity not only for us to, as a church, to come together, membership to come together, and the board to come together, but it's also an opportunity for people in Chattanooga to come together to help. I mean, there's definitely a need here in Chattanooga. I mean, I'm not sure what your experiences have been, but I live downtown, not too far from downtown, in the hood.
Right.
And as soon as I drive out of my house and go down the block, what I see is homelessness. I see people on the street, and for whatever reason, you know, the causes of homelessness is a variety of different reasons why people are homeless. But the bottom line is they're in need of food and shelter, and so I'd like us to
help.
I'm looking to I want to respond, and I'm looking for people that's interested in responding. And the first place I want to go is to the places which I call home, which is Unity of Chattanooga. What can
Okay.
we do to help those people?
And at this point, have you had much of a response? I mean,
Well, I've had a response. I mean, we definitely have people on our board. The board members are definitely going to be out there this Saturday.
oh, good.
And we've had a couple of people, church members that have responded as far as helping us to create press releases and stuff like
Okay.
that.
And you put a press release out there.
Well, we haven't put one out yet. We're developing one at this point.
Okay.
Because we definitely want to get not only people from our community, our church community, involved in this. We also want to reach out to people in Chattanooga. I mean, if
Okay.
they want to get involved. They want to donate some of the stuff that the homeless will need, and also.
So
I'm
what
sorry.
what kind of things?
Mhm.
So if I wanted to participate,
Doug,
how,
hold
how
on
would
a
I
second.
do?
Hold on a second. I'm not used to this. Usually we get on here and I ask Doug questions. You know what I mean? Doug has flipped this today. He flipped it. And it's like, I don't answer questions, but it's cool.
Yeah, but it's cool. yeah.
Welcome
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I'm not used to this. You're like, wait, Shannon, but it's cool. I mean, yeah. So the items that we will need, things that homeless people need, like combs, like maybe a comb or a
All
brush, or like some snacks, some individually packed snacks, maybe peanut butter and cookies or cakes, maybe some fruit, some socks.
That's I watch a little bit of TV.
Okay.
Not a lot, but
Ooh, he watches television, guy, man.
a little bit. And every now and then there'll be a commercial on for this sock company, and I don't remember the name of the sock company, but the long and the short of it, they show all kinds of different colors of socks, and people wearing the socks, things like that you'd expect in a commercial. And then they show a bunch of socks that are dark in color, and they say for every pair of socks you buy, we donate one of these. Okay,
That's so cool.
And what they follow that up with is that they say the number one need in homeless shelters is for socks.
Yeah.
So,
And so if you have any socks that you would like to donate, please shoot me an email. My email address is leeshanbrun@gmail.com. Let me put it up on the screen here. Doug, you know how to use this thing here? I've been showing you a little bit.
well, that was about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I think the best thing for me to do, since I'm bugging you with questions, I gotta be the guy.
Yeah, you can probably, you can probably put. But yeah, if you want to donate or if you want to help us volunteer, shoot me an email. My email is at the bottom of the screen right here. Shoot me an email and we'll get the information to you. We're going to be out there this Saturday, the
Okay.
28th, from 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
We're going to be right on East 11th Street, downtown Chattanooga, right across the street from the community kitchen.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's across the street from the community.
Yeah,
kitchen.
it's right across the street. It's across the street, but down the block. But I just say across the street so people can they'll see us if they come out.
Is there a name on the building?
Well, the community kitchen has a name on
Okay.
it. Yeah, it says community kitchen on it.
All
But
right.
we'll be directly across the street from that, maybe a little down the block. There's a big tent area of homeless people. There's maybe hundreds of homeless people underneath a bridge. And it's just tents and tents of homeless people down there.
Wow.
And I figured, you know what? Maybe myself and some volunteers from Unity Chattanooga and surrounding communities can come out and just, put some stuff on the table, individually packed snacks and any combs and things that the homeless might need, and also some reading material. We have Unity of Worldwide Ministry has a slew of reading material for people.
All kinds of literature.
Yeah. And some of that literature has gotten to me before I was part of Unity, and it's
Uh-huh.
actually brought me into Unity.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
Wow,
so,
that's a great story. So tell us about that story. How you heard about
This
it?
guy is really, he's really asking the questions today. But definitely that material has gotten into my hands at one time.
Okay.
And it's helped me to find a way to Unity.
Sure.
Unity Ministries.
Sure.
And I think that if we provide that material on the 28th on the table, maybe not, it will get in the hands of some people that will find Unity useful. Because this is a useful practice, man. This
Well,
thing
it is.
really changed my life drastically.
It's what the founders called practical Christianity. And the idea is not just to worship on Sunday, but the idea is to understand the spiritual truths behind our existence, the spiritual laws that govern our existence, and to be able to use those in such a way that we help ourselves and we help others. That's the idea behind it, and that idea is just unity is just one organization of many that will take that idea of helping yourself and helping others and making the world a better place. We're just one of many, okay? But for me, it's been one that combines an inner spiritual need as well as a need to be of use in the world, and it works very, very well. At least it has for me. So,
and so we want to provide that material. We want to make that material available for other people that might find it useful.
And hopefully when we're down there, somebody's going to ask some questions.
Yeah.
And we'll give them the pamphlet and invite them to come to the service if that's what they want to do, and just talk with them a little bit.
They may even ask for prayer.
They may.
They may even ask for prayer, and if they ask for prayer, we'll
be happy to oblige them.
Yeah, we'll do our best to do that for them. Yeah,
sure.
So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that we are meeting this that's Saturday, the outreach program,
right.
And then the next day is the service, the
Sunday.
Outdoor service.
Yeah,
and then you're going to be.
I'm going to be talking.
You're going to be doing that.
Yeah.
And then so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Yeah. So.
And for those of you who have been with us for a considerable period of time, or were with us when I was the full-time minister back 2014 and earlier, one of the musicians that we had regularly was Landis Batts, and Landis is going to be providing the music that Sunday, and I've talked with Landis already about it, and so we're both looking forward to it. Yeah. I can remember when I would do the meditations, Landis just had a feel for the music. He was raised Baptist, okay, and just the religious experience, the spiritual experience, and those two things can sometimes be different, okay, but he had just a way of combining the music with the message that just made it flow perfectly.
Brings it right in.
And I can remember many times we used to have a meditation, maybe 3-4 minutes, of a meditation during the Sunday service every Sunday, and I would get up and I would start the meditation with a few words, and then Landis would come in behind it, with some music, and I can tell you, at least for me doing it, what a shift. I mean, I could just, the minute he started playing, man, I could feel spirit just downloading.
The Baptist got a way of bringing that spirit into the building, man.
It was it was something else, And as a matter of fact, there were people in Chattanooga who said Landis was the best kept secret around in terms of music. So
he actually came by a couple of days ago to drop off that piano. He's going to use for the outdoor.
Okay,
a
keyboard, right?
The keyboard. I'm sorry.
Okay, not his grand piano.
No, not a grand piano.
Okay.
He came by the house to drop off the keyboard, and we're taking. Look, this is not a small. It's not a small feat. I mean, we are taking on a big task here. I mean, let's go back a little bit. We've actually lost a minister, and we've lost a few board members, and I think it's worth sharing how resilient we've been as a church, from the help of our parishioners, people who come to tune into our services and who give, and to the board members that continue to be active and loyal to the unity of Chattanooga. It hasn't been easy for us to continue to survive and thrive as a church.
Right.
But we have done that, and I'm so grateful for the board. I'm so grateful for the service that Penny has done. What you've done, you've stepped up. You were in retirement. You were like,
well,
sleeping in retirement. I was like, Doug, come on, you gotta get it. But you had your own things going on.
Yeah, I had some physical issues going on too, which have hopefully I'm on the other side of that.
And it all came at the right. You got better at the time that we needed you most.
That's true.
You got better at the time, and that's spirit. That's God. To me, that's what I believe it is. You got better at the time we needed it most.
Yeah.
And so it just hasn't been easy to lose our ministry, to lose half of our trustees, but we have been continuing to move forward. And I'm so grateful for the help that we've gotten from you, from Penny, from the board. And it's just hasn't been easy, but we are doing it. And so that brings me to the point real quick of, we're doing this outdoor service for the first time, where we are producing it ourselves. We're not looking for, someone to come in, a musician to come in with their technology and help us produce this.
Right.
This is coming straight from us, from grassroots. This is going to be our first time producing our outdoor service.
And it's going to be great.
Yes, it's going to be great, and it's going to be great because we got some dedicated people.
Yeah.
And because because we have some dedicated people, and I just want to say again, I'm so grateful for our, it's a small community. We're growing, and I'm excited about it. I'm really excited.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I haven't done a live service in in a long time, since 2014. So there's from my perspective, there is a special energy about a service like that. Something that, the podcasts are great, and with COVID and everything, we've been able to keep alive with that. Okay, but there's something special about being in person and being right there. Especially if any of you who are going to be there have a prayer request. I'll be coming down, or not down, but coming across and asking for prayer requests. And if you raise your hand, I'll be right there, and we'll do a prayer right there. And there's, I don't want to call it magic, but there's a healing to that. There's a special feeling with that. So.
Yeah, you wrote a prayer for me a couple months ago when we did our podcast, and we had a prayer service. Not even a prayer service, but we had a portion of our podcast, our church Sunday service, where you took in some prayer requests, and you sent me an email because I didn't get my prayer request in on time. And during my spiritual practice, I speak those. I've turned your prayer request into affirmations.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've turned it into an affirmation, and so every morning and every night I repeat that prayer that you gave me. Not a prayer anymore; it's an affirmation. I repeat it, and it's definitely changed me in a lot of ways. So thank you for that.
Well, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
One of the things, the past couple times we've been talking, past couple of weeks, I remember you were asking about prayer a little bit, and you kind of slipped something in there that said, there's a lot going on in my life, a lot of stress, a lot of stuff like that. And I there's fine print with prayer, okay? And sometimes that fine print just basically says, if you're praying in a certain direction and there's affirmations that you're saying and things, the next thing that sometimes can happen is your world will absolutely fall apart. Okay? And that is the key. That's now change is coming. Okay, you've got to release the old before the new comes. And most people.
So so it's definitely going to be some down stuff happening.
There can be.
Right. Okay.
Okay. It doesn't. You say the prayer, and all of a sudden, the light shines and everything's wonderful. It doesn't work like that. Usually, there's a great ending before a great beginning, and there's no greater example of that or greater story than the Exodus. If you take a look at how the Bible and the Hebrew nation developed, and then Jesus came afterwards, came to the Jews. It all started with the Exodus. It was a great ending, and then there was some turmoil. Okay, there was the time in the wilderness. Okay. And what happened in the wilderness? If you read Genesis, it'll tell you that Moses waited 40 years for the old to pass away. And so when we do our prayer work, oftentimes there is an ending. Oftentimes there is, some hard times, but then it begins to turn around and begins to go in a
maybe we can say we can relate that to where we are as a ministry, as a church, the Exodus. Like maybe where we are now as a church, the fact that we're we've been. It seems like we've been in a state of trying to find our way for a while. I mean, since I've been a part of Unity,
Right.
we've had two. I've been part of Unity of Chattanooga for 3 years,
Right.
and we've had 2 locations
Right.
since that time. I'm not sure what was going on before that, but I've got some history. You were actually.
I was fortunate, I guess. I don't know how much more time we've got, but one thing I can tell you throughout my business career,
Mm-hmm.
I always came into a facility or an organization that was functioning, not well,
Right.
okay, but it was
Mm-hmm.
all the pieces were there.
Mhm.
What I had to do was get it going in
Mhm.
the right direction. Okay, that was my business career. And when I came to Unity of Chattanooga, the building was there. We had a
Lucky you.
well,
Yeah.
and we had believe it or not, it was the smallest congregation of all the offers that I had.
Wow.
All the other ones were
Huge.
much larger.
Wow.
But I just thoroughly enjoyed the people that I met there and who welcomed Penny and I and that sort of thing. And but the point is, I've always come into an organization that was stable. Okay, maybe not functioning very
Right,
well.
right,
Okay, but Unity of Chattanooga was just a wonderful group of people at the time. They had their own facility. The money was there. What they were looking for was a minister, somebody who could speak on Sundays and put some programs and classes and things like that together. And that's basically what I did for 10 years.
Well,
you,
now,
on the other hand,
we're in the wilderness. Perhaps.
Exactly.
We're in the wilderness, and based on what you said a little while ago, it's okay. That's
Yeah.
a sign that something is going to eventually
Right.
happen. I mean, that's what I'm rooting for, and I know
Right.
that to be true.
Right.
We're coming out of it, and that's one of the reasons why we started this whole building fund
Excellent.
thing.
Yeah.
We started that to give people an opportunity to donate monies to go to
And behind the building fund is a vision,
right
a greater vision.
a greater vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could go on forever, but what I can tell you, there's a Bible verse: "Without a vision, the people
Yeah,
perish."
we have to dream. We have to dream. We have
You're
to imagine.
exactly right.
Imagination is a part
Where
of-
do we wanna go?
Where do we
What-
want to
what-
go?
what do we
we
want it
can't
to
just,
look like?
Yeah, we have to do that, and we're doing. I'm so grateful, man. I'm so grateful for this congregation. I'm so grateful for you. We got to get out of here. We can talk all day. Real quick, if you want your prayer requests, we're taking those prayer requests for
Right.
this Sunday, and if you
You
have
can send
one,
them in right now if you'd like.
let me put that up real quick.
You can send them in now, or if not, just come on Sunday and at some part of the Sunday service. I haven't totally figured that out yet, but I'm going to step away from the podium and say, prayer's the foundation of everything we do here at Unity. And so if you have a prayer request, just simply raise your hand and I'll come down and we'll do a short prayer together. Now, I'm going to try to limit that to 3, maybe 4, something like that, depending on it. If we have 6 or 8 or 10, there just wouldn't be enough time,
Of course.
for that, and the talk and the music
Right.
and everything else. But we'll do 3, and the purpose of a Sunday service is to experience prayer, to experience an uplifting message, to experience the music, to experience giving. That's what a service is all about.
Yeah,
That's
so-
why we call it a celebration service.
Yeah. So make sure you get your prayer request into contact@unitychattanooga.org. That's on the bottom of the screen. Doug, thank you for having me in your backyard. Is this the
Hey.
place where you do your Zen stuff? This is
Huh?
really nice back. Is
Hey.
this where you do your Zen stuff back here?
No, I actually have a place inside of the house.
Doug
where
probably have a big sanctuary in his house, man.
Well, I'd show it to you if you want to see it.
Okay,
It's
cool.
not much. It's
Yeah.
just a chair, but once you close your eyes, you can enter the kingdom.
Yeah, a little area in which you take time out to
Right.
connect with the spirit. That's the wonderful thing. I have the same area. Doug, thank you so much.
Okay,
man.
buddy.
We'll talk to you. Thank you guys for coming out and joining us, and we'll
Hanging out with us.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on. Wait a minute, real quick. This Sunday, the 29th at 11 o'clock, Pavilion number 1. We're gonna have our Sunday service, and we look forward to seeing you guys here
Perfect.
outside.
Okay.
Okay.
See you later.